Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Planet Coaster, where we are continuing work on our pretty cool kind of Pokemon theme park here. So, as I said last time, I didn't want to use the park entrance that kind of comes default with most of the maps. And the reason being is that it doesn't really match anything in the park that I'm building. And so I'm essentially building the entrance now. Again, it's going to be a relatively small overall kind of park. It's going to be compact and, well, hopefully compact. I generally tend to make things bigger naturally anyways because I get a little caught up into things. But what this is so in the games and also in the anime a little bit, what you do in between each route, you go through kind of this station area. And it's basically like a loading screen for all intents and purposes in like the video games. And so I didn't really know how that would look in, say, the anime world, because in the anime they don't really do that often, or really ever from what I remember. So these little kind of route buildings aren't really there. The only thing that I could think of that they did touch on was Cycling Road, which is not what this is for, but it is based off the station that I believe they featured somewhere. I found a screenshot of the Cycling Road station in the anime, and so that's what this is based off of. I figured it works because it's kind of like a toll road kind of structure, and then also has kind of a police building kind of attachment to the side of it. So that's why we have this shape, kind of the right entryway and left exit for the main structure. And it's relatively boxy. It's not an overly complicated build that we're doing today. Though I am adding these skylights that were referenced in the picture that I saw. Kind of a shame that in Planet Coaster these windows aren't see-through and they don't act like real windows. That's something I wish they would kind of add, because it's one thing to have these window pieces be opaque in color so that you don't have to worry about the things behind it, but I think we need transparent pieces so that we can actually do effects with glass that currently we cannot. So I think that's something they should probably add eventually. But these it's very similar to like a greenhouse, I guess, kind of window placement. Just this kind of half circle on top. And since it's not functional, I don't really have to clear out the bottom at all to make it look like, you can look up through the structure, though that would be something I would want to do. But right now, not possible. Right, so this is what I'm calling this. This is basically Officer Jenny's kind of station, and so she's basically going to be the people taking the tickets into the park. It's also the entrance into the park, so I kind of pictured them maybe needing a police station of some kind, I guess, to fit the theme of a ticket booth. And we're just going to copy this other window set over to the right side. Now, these aren't actually placed perfectly onto the grid, which is a little bit of a problem. I end up fixing the right one a little bit, as it's not quite centered onto the structure. You can see they don't really line up and mirror correctly, and so what I end up doing is moving that top piece there over about half a block. And by doing so, you just have to place one of these quarter sandstone pieces, and that unlocks the quarter grid for the rest of the building. And so you can actually adjust things by half movements, which can be really useful for doing these type of structures, especially with things that are symmetrical and you want just a little bit more control in your horizontal movements. And of course, when you add a roof, you get even smaller vertical lines, so they don't go up like by whole blocks. They can actually be measured out a little bit tighter as well. So that's something to keep in mind for your guys' builds. Front and back going to look relatively identical on the structure, so we're just going to make the front entrance here, which is basically the main foot entrance into the police station itself, and then we will copy that over onto the backside once I kind of come up with a good enough design. I believe in my reference there's a garage here, but we don't really have vehicles in the game, so I don't really want to reference a garage, though I could probably picture people maybe cruising around on like a little golf cart or something. I kind of think that would be something cool that they could add to the game for like security guards, like little golf carts that can drive around, and maybe that would like increase their patrolling speed, because I think having maybe a sense of progression for your employees would be pretty cool in the simulation. But until we have the simulation, I can't really sit here and I guess ask for too much, since it's not even out yet. We're just waiting for hopefully Alpha 3 is when that's coming, though right now it looks like we're just getting water and some additional terrain stuff for Alpha 3. Adding these Chief Beef lights above the door, which is pretty cool. At nighttime they actually light up and everything, which I think adds a nice little bit of movement of light. And right now the structure is basically all fleshed out beyond just some of the minor details. Going to add some piping on the roof for basically almost like chimney effects slash antenna, or just miscellaneous electrical kind of networks that's on top of the building. Going to add a little jut on the interior here. Now the right side is supposed to be the entrance and the left side is supposed to be the exit. Of course, our people aren't really going to be doing that once the park is open, so that's not really a functional thing. That's more like an aesthetic kind of look. But the right side going to have that little jut out, and I'll add a window to it to make it look like, you can purchase tickets there, and then also add some, I guess, turnstile kind of elements, these wooden barriers that kind of funnel people through. If you already have a ticket, you don't necessarily have to go in the right lane. You can use the other one and basically bypass it. Using these doors kind of partly into the wall and raised up, maybe it looks like these windows close up and lock, which I think would be pretty cool. Here's our wooden little, I guess, queue lines, and then at the end we'll put some chimneys and some metal railings to act like basically the main gate, kind of blocking the foot traffic that people would have to walk through. Right now I have everything closed up. I might change that later on when we open the park, because it might look a little weird having all the peeps kind of phase through this little short wall that we're building here. But right now it's just going to be a pretty straightforward copy and paste to the other side, and then we're going to flip it around just so it looks like one's going in, one's going out. Maybe, I don't know, I guess why there would be a turnstile going out with these things, but, I imagine maybe when you're leaving you have to give them something so you can't come back in without a good reason or something like that. I just thought symmetrically it looks better with something on both sides. Little details on the left and right sides of the building, nothing too fantastic, as they're not really the main kind of view spots. So, the front and back is really where all the detail is. The sides will have some windows and things, but nothing too crazy onto it. Gonna add some more support pillars. It's a very modern structure, as a lot of these will be, and so they're going to be very clean lines. They're not going to have a lot of, I guess, layers and wooden elements to add even more layers that we've been doing previously in our other parks. So it's a little bit different, but I do like it. I think this is a really cool kind of entryway into a park to have. It fits the theme, and now we just need a bunch of Officer Jennies walking around, and hopefully, maybe, I was talking to my girlfriend about this, was that if modding does come to Planet Coaster, making skins for the actual employees would be pretty cool, and sharing those. Anything with creative games, you kind of want a modding scene to it, because it just increases the longevity of that game drastically. And really, you can look at Roller Coaster Tycoon, and people are still doing that today, and that game is like 20 years old, but just due to mods, people can still hop in and create some really cool stuff. So that's it for the speed build area. We're going to go ahead and skip to me in real time, and we can go over how everything looks. So here we are in real time, taking a look at everything. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the entryway. We have, I think it's a really cool structure if you think about it in terms of, I guess, scale. A lot of parks will have like kind of this thin kind of entryway, and I really like this kind of longer entryway where you kind of have more of a tunnel effect. You actually walk in, it obstructs your view of everything for a bit, and then you walk out. Basically, I picture that as like coming into a different world in a sense. So like you're now outside the park, not really part of the world, and then now you kind of step through that threshold, and now you're truly in the park and everything that it should be representing. So I think that's a really cool thing to have, and the overall look of this ticket booth is just a lot more different than this thing over here. So you know, this thing is pretty cool. In fact, I really wish I could copy some of the elements here, like these kind of like ticket rungs. Let's see if I can't do that. Let's see, edit the building and copy. Haha, I can. Okay. So I don't know what this is. Planet Coaster Turnstile. Okay. Let's see if I can't duplicate it. No. Hold on. I'm testing things now because I'm curious. But that would be so cool if I could somehow get that inside of here, because that's a proper kind of turnstile element. But I guess for now we'll leave it over there. But yeah, it's a lot, you know, a lot more unique than this structure here. This structure doesn't look bad. I mean, really, for a park entrance, this is very nice and clean. And, you know, I like the wave action of the roof. You get this cool, it's almost like, I guess, part of a coaster kind of feeling. But this feels a lot more, I guess, grounded in the park that we're building. So this is very modern, very square. And then also it has, you know, just a nice wide path for people to go in bulk and leave in bulk. Now, these iron grates, this is, I guess, supposed to be representing, like, if it's closed, those would be, like, lowered down and actually seal off the park, which is, I think, something to consider when you're building these things. Like, how does the park actually shut down and then keep people out? Now, a problem with this is the fact that I don't plan on having like this thick wall surrounding the whole park or anything. I just want to have forest, because in Pokemon, not every zone is just divided up with walls. I mean, a lot of them are just trees getting in your way, preventing you from going in certain directions. And so that's what I want to try and do with my park here, just kind of surround it with a very thick forest, if that makes sense to you guys. Yeah, I really like, again, how everything turned out. If you guys have any suggestions, also touch on this real quick. I am working on getting the coaster to fit in here. I have cleared out the space and I have tested a few coaster platforms, trying to get it to fit, and then we'll start the coaster here probably next episode, laying out this thing. This is going to be the exit point. Nice exit doorway there, and then of course the entrance on this side. So that's something to look forward to. But hey, we have two structures now, and as we move into, I guess this section here will be Pallet Town, and then this one will be what I would assume maybe a bit of Viridian City or something like that. Professor's Oak is kind of the connecting point in between the two. I think that would be it's an okay kind of compromise to try and make it compact, but also touch on the beginnings of Pokemon. So again, if you have any suggestions, anything you guys want to, you know, say to work on or fix or add, feel free to leave me a comment down below. If you're new, go ahead and check out my other videos. We have worked on a full Roman park previously. Feel free to check that out. That was over, I think, 10 episodes long, so that's a long series if you're new to go watch. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time and some more Planet Coaster.